Tuesday. We hope that you had a great day off yesterday and a nice 3-day weekend.
Days off are nice.
This is a short week, and so let's jump right in and see the things that we will be doing this week. Our weekly agenda. So hopefully you have done the question of the day. You're watching your teacher video. You need to complete Tuesday of your writing journal. We're going to preview our text for this week, which is a really fun one called Fears and Phobias. Phobias. Ooh. And we're going to complete the Check Your Understanding today. This is 3 questions. And we're going to learn about dashes. And we've also got our awesome box right here again. And Miss Cook, is there fun things in our box this week?
Yes. Fun things.
Is today something squishy?
Not really. I mean, maybe.
But
it does kind of have to do with our story. Kind of.
Okay.
In a roundabout way.
If there's a cockroach in there, I'm
There's
out.
nothing scary, I
Because
promise.
I have a phobia and a fear of cockroaches.
All right.
That reminds me of a funny story I'll have to tell you. Not on camera.
So that's our weekly agenda, our weekly objectives. We are going to learn and use new vocabulary. We're going to cite evidence and support analysis of a text with text features to navigate that informational text.
Ooh, fancy words.
I know.
Big words because we're in 6th grade.
Don't be overwhelmed. We're going to explain it to you. We're going to conduct research about phobias and what are phobias.
That sounds fun.
Yes. And we're going to write an informative essay about fears and phobias.
Oh, I like writing. You know,
I
I love to
know.
write. And writing about fears and phobias, can't
fun.
get more
I can-
interesting than that.
I can come up with some good things for that.
Me too.
We're going to discuss the information that can help people overcome their fears. So we're just not going to talk about things that are scary. We're going to tell you how you can get over the things that are scary sometimes.
Finding courage in the face of fear?
Oh,
Yes.
isn't that our essential question?
I think so.
It's all connected. We're going to use prefixes that mean not to help us define unfamiliar words. And we are going to analyze how writers use dashes. Because sometimes there are dashes and stuff and you don't know why they get put there or what they're about. We're going to talk about that today. And so we have our essential question, which is still, how do you find courage in the face of fear? And today we're going to talk about informational text, so real life fear. Okay?
So today's writing journal is a little bit different. We wanted to do something fun. So I've given you a picture of this lovely dog. Now, unfortunately, this isn't our dog. However, it is a cute dog and he's doing something kind of weird there. So you are going to write a story in response to this picture. Now, it can be fiction or nonfiction, your choice. You can describe what's going on in the picture, or you can write a fun fictional story about what this guy is doing. It's your choice, and I can't wait to read it.
I noticed it says write a caption. What is a caption for someone that might not remember?
So a caption is a sentence or two that describes what is happening in a photograph.
Okay. We also have some new vocabulary to learn this week. And I think you're going to like the words this week that we're learning about. And the first word that we have this week is activate, and then turbulence, trigger, immaturity, and indicate. Big words. So to activate is to make something active or operative. You have to press the red button to activate the machine. Miss Cook is pressing a button to activate the slideshow. Synonyms are start and trigger. Antonyms are deactivate. Remember that you need to be learning those and using this later for your vocabulary study guide.
Mm-hmm.
Our second word is turbulence. I like this word. I just like saying that word,
Yes.
turbulence. An interruption in the flow of wind that causes planes to rise or fall or sway in a rough way while flying. So in an airplane, when you're flying, sometimes you'll hit wind that causes the plane to drop suddenly, and they call that turbulence. And if you're in an airplane that's experiencing turbulence, you're probably going up and down a lot. It can take your tummy, and it can make you feel kind of sick. Synonyms are instability or turmoil, and the antonyms are calm and still. Trigger, to cause something to begin. And so you have a little clicker here, and you can trigger your car to start. The synonyms are cause and start. The antonyms are end and stop. We have the word immaturity. I know when I was in junior high, I heard that word sometimes referred to me, because I will admit sometimes I showed immaturity. It's the state of not being fully developed or grown, being immature. And you can see a picture of a little baby there crying, because your brain is still developing really until you're out of your teen years. Your brain is still developing. You're still learning new things. You're still learning how to control your emotions. The synonyms are childishness. That's a hard word to say with a mask on. Imperfection. And your antonyms are maturity and perfection. And then we have the word indicate, to point out or show. And you can see the man there. He is pointing to his sign to indicate what is supposed to go there. So he's pointing it out. And the synonyms are signal or show, and the antonyms are conceal or hide. So study that vocabulary, because that right there that we just showed you is what you're going to use on your vocabulary study guide. I've had some people that are struggling with that, and they go, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm using a dictionary. This right here is what you use on your study guide, word for word.
Yep, we give
on
you
your study
all
guide.
the answers.
Everything we give you.
All right, so this week our story, like we said, it's called Fears and Phobias. So when you look at this, the fear of heights is called acrophobia. So how do you guys feel when you see a roller coaster like this?
Excited. I love roller coasters.
Me too.
I am a little bit excited because I have learned to love roller coasters, but I'm also a little bit afraid because for most of my youth, I was terrified. And if I saw something like that, I probably would have started shaking.
Now, I don't like heights. If I'm
Yeah, I
strapped
don't
in
either.
and I know I can't fall like in a roller coaster, it's fine. But if I am up high and I feel unstable in any way, I can't handle it.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Yes.
So that's called acrophobia. And this week we're going to learn about a lot of different phobias and what causes them. So let's look at our genre this week. It's informational text, which tells you we're going to be learning information. It's all true.
True stuff.
It's not written as a story. It's written to give you facts about a topic. And our topic this week, of course, will be fears and phobias.
Which I think you're really going to enjoy. Because
Absolutely.
it's fun to learn about that sort of stuff.
Yes, this is something you'll want to know. So you see, informational text gives us factual information. It includes evidence to support ideas. So it doesn't just tell us what the facts are, it tells us why those are the facts and how they know. It contains text features. So you're going to see things like headings and captions and bold words. These are things that are included to give you extra information. So they're very important. We're going to learn more about that tomorrow. And there are many different forms of informational text. So you have news articles, essays, you have informational text. It's in books. It comes in all different forms, but it's all, they all have the same features. So we have given you here our 4 P's, okay? So preview, predict, purpose, and prior knowledge. Before you get into a book, you really need to look at these 4 P's and think about, why are you reading this? What is the purpose for you reading this? What is this book even about? What do I already know about fears and phobias? I can actually name several phobias.
I can too.
Like arachnophobia is the fear of
I have a
spiders.
good one. Triskaidekaphobia
The
is the fear of the number 13.
Hydrophobia, claustrophobia. So we already have a little bit of prior knowledge. And like we've already mentioned, we have some phobias too. So we have that personal connection as well. We can use that as we start reading to form even more connections, and it'll help us understand. predict. Start thinking about, what am I going to learn in this story? What is the author going to teach me and tell me? When you are looking through, start looking for those text features. What's the title? Circle the title. Think about it. Fears and phobias. Look at those headings. Look at those photographs. Those things will help you understand what you're going to learn in your text.
Well, and oftentimes there are, when you take yourself into the world of testing, oftentimes there are test questions that are asked about pictures and captions and headings. They always seem to pick stuff like that to put on tests. So it's good in that sense to know where those things are and to make sure you read them.
For sure. And in real life, authors are going to put different information in those text features that's not included in the article. So if you don't read those text features, if, for instance, if there's a text box, then you're going to miss some important information that the author wanted you to have. Usually, I like to read the text boxes because it's interesting information or fun facts. So don't skip over those text features. They're important. So the background, this is a little bit of information about this article. It says, most people experience fear now and then. Fear is an ordinary part of life. Some fears may be overcome quickly. Others may continue in varying degrees for a lifetime. Science explains why we experience fear and why sometimes our fears seem out of control. Whether it's a fear of spiders, a fear of the dark, or a fear of flying, using science to understand our responses to fear is the first step toward conquering it. So we're going to learn about how identifying why we have these fears can help us overcome these fears. So very interesting.
That kind of helps us to grow and mature, to learn about our own fears and how we can push past those fears. Helps us in our maturing process.
Right.
Helps us to grow up.
So this link, you'll click on it and it will show you the Screencastify that we've done for you, a YouTube video of your story. So you can actually listen to it for the first time. We'll also give you the file so you can read it again if you'd like to. And don't forget that you can also go to your lesson, and we'll include all of these materials for you. So they're in several different places in case you can't access one of them. After you finish this, complete your Check the Understanding questions. And just so you know, the questions, the grade that you get on your Google assignment, your Google quiz, is not the grade that we'll put in the grade book. So there are only 3 questions, and we count them minus 10 points if you get one wrong. So if you miss 1, it's a 90. If you miss 2, it's an 80. If you miss 3, it's a 70. It's just a way for us to see really quickly how well you understood the article. So don't freak out if you see a 30. A 30 is a 100, okay? And we don't always get to go back and change that in Google, but when we put it in Skyward, you'll have the correct grade, okay?
And that gives us a chance to see what we need to continue to work on with you individually if you're not understanding the story.
Right.
And our grammar for this week is dashes. And we're going to talk about dashes because they're kind of tricky, and sometimes you don't understand why they're there instead of other things. So in this lesson, you're going to learn about the effective use of dashes in writing. Dashes are used to set off phrases that are added to sentences or that interrupt them. And then we have some examples here. So it says, feeling afraid is very natural and helpful in some situations. So the dashes set off another little part of that sentence that's almost like an aside. So not only is it natural, it's helpful. And so you treat them like commas in a way. You pause. And the next one says, writers use dashes to interrupt their thoughts abruptly or to emphasize important ideas. A stylistic choice used in both literary and in informational text, dashes add variety and voice.
I tend to notice dashes a little more than I notice commas. To me, it makes it more important. It seems more important. Like when I read there and helpful seems to stick out more than if it were just set apart by commas.
And I think part of the reason you probably notice them more is authors don't use them quite as often.
Right.
Yeah.
Commas are very common, whereas dashes, you don't see them quite as often in writing. because it is supposed to kind of jump out to you and
mhm.
show you that there's something really important there to see.
So anything, or typically in between those dashes, it's going to be something very important that the author really, really wants you to catch. So in fears and phobias, dashes are used in a lot of ways. They're used to set off emphatic or abrupt interruptions. So things that are abrupt, like feeling afraid, is very natural and helpful in some situations. They're used to mark sharp turns in thought. So, but this doesn't help them overcome fear. In fact, it can be the reverse. So sometimes it's there to kind of show you the change or a change in direction. It's to enclose added elements that give greater emphasis. So once a person decides to go for it and gets the right coaching and support, it can be surprising how quickly fear can melt away. So it's adding that emphasis to that point about getting help or going for it. And to set off an expression that summarizes or illustrates a statement that precedes it. So this statement is going to kind of give you a summary of what we're talking about. That's because the fear reaction is activated instantly, a few seconds faster than the thinking part of the brain can process or evaluate what's happening. So it summarizes or helps you better understand what comes before it. And dashes are tricky, and they do take a little practice and a little time to really grasp a hold of. So don't feel discouraged if you're looking at this or reading this and are going, I still do not have a clue what this means. Because it does take practice, and it's going to take a little bit of time before we get it nailed down completely.
Yeah, and so right now, just pay attention as you're reading. When you see a dash, think, okay, why did the author put that there? What does it mean? And as we go through the year, we'll start practicing using them in our own sentences and our own writing. And go ahead and try using them. If you use it wrong, it's okay.
Let's say,
We'll
find
help
a
you.
place in one of your journals this week where you can maybe put
Add a
one
dash.
dash.
Mhm.
And so just practice with it. This is a safe place to explore, and go for it.
Yeah.
And guess what? You have reached a point where you should be finished with your assignments. We added something today. We've added a little thing for you to be able to check off in your brain to make sure before you mark as done. We still have some people not marking that they've done it. Very important that you're going to mark this as done. Don't mark it as done until in your head you can put a check in each one of those boxes, because we really need to make sure that you're doing every part of your assignment. Because if you don't, if you miss something, you're going to have problems in another lesson. You've got to do every single part. Well, I think we've come to the end of the video. What's in the box today? You said it was not squishy, and it had to do with our lesson, and she promised it wasn't a cockroach.
It is not. But do you have any guesses?
Maybe a plastic spider?
Is it more candy?
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
That was good.
Okay, so because of COVID, a lot of us kind of have a fear of germs right
yes.
now. So
Hand sanitizer.
I brought some hand
Oh,
sanitizer. It's
it's
really cute and it smells really good. So
It's a unicorn.
It's
Unicorn.
pretty and it's pink and
Yeah.
it's a unicorn.
if you've ever wondered what unicorns smell like, there you have
There
it.
we
Well,
go.
and we learned last week that unicorns are the national animal of
Of
Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah,
How
who knew?
random is that?
All right, guys. Well, thanks for sticking with us today, and we will see you next time.
Bye.